hunting skinwalkers in Beulah, Alabama. The air was thick with tension as I pulled my truck off the main road and onto a dirt path that led deep into the woods near Beulah, Alabama. Locals had whispered about strange occurrences here for years. Shadows that moved against the moonlight, unnatural screams echoing in the dark, and animals found mutilated without explanation. They said it was the work of a skinwalker, an ancient and malevolent entity capable of shifting into the form of any animal, or even a human. I wasn't one to scare easily, but this hunt felt different. I had my usual gear, a high-powered flashlight, a thermal camera, a silver blade, just in case, and a recorder to document any sounds or sightings. More importantly, I carried a Navajo talisman gifted to me by a fellow cryptid hunter. He said it was for protection, but he wouldn't elaborate. The sun dipped below the horizon as I reached the edge of the woods. I stepped out, the crunch of gravel beneath my boots the only sound. The forest was eerily quiet, as if the usual nighttime symphony of crickets and frogs had been swallowed by something unnatural. I clicked on my flashlight and started moving, scanning the underbrush for any signs of disturbance. About half a mile in, I found it, tracks in the dirt. They looked like deer hooves, but something was off. The spacing was wrong, too wide, almost as if whatever made them was walking on two legs. Gotcha, I whispered to myself, crouching to examine the prints closer. Suddenly, a shrill cry pierced the silence, freezing me in place. It sounded like a woman screaming, but it echoed in a way that no human voice should. My hand instinctively tightened around the hilt of the silver blade at my hip. "Don't let it trick you," I muttered, more to myself than anything else. Skinwalkers were known to mimic voices, luring their prey deeper into the woods. I pressed on, the scream repeating intermittently, each time sounding closer. Then I saw it, something darting between the trees, too fast for me to make out its shape. My heart pounded as I raised the thermal camera. Through the screen I saw a glowing heat signature, crouched low to the ground. It looked like a coyote at first, but its limbs were all wrong. Too long, too thin. Its head snapped toward me, and I swear I saw a glint of human-like intelligence in its glowing eyes. It bared its teeth in a grotesque grin before disappearing into the shadows. I was being hunted now. I turned in a slow circle, trying to keep calm. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but I knew better. Skinwalkers thrived on fear, and running would make me an easy target. I steadied my breathing and began chanting a protective prayer I'd memorized from my research. The forest around me seemed to shudder, the shadows growing deeper. I saw movement again, this time to my left, then to my right. It was circling me, testing my resolve. "Come on," I said, my voice firm, despite the fear bubbling in my chest. "Show yourself." As if in response, the creature stepped out from the darkness. It stood on two legs now, its body contorted and grotesque. Its face was a horrifying blend of animal and human, its eyes glowing like embers. I gripped the talisman in one hand and the silver blade in the other. "You don't belong here," I said, my voice steady. The creature tilted its head, as if mocking me, before letting out an ear-splitting shriek and charging. Time slowed as I raised the blade, the talisman burning hot against my palm. The next few seconds were a blur, a flash of claws, the glint of the blade, and a sickening howl that echoed through the forest. When it was over, I stood alone, the blade slick with dark, foul-smelling ichor. The creature was gone, but its presence lingered, the forest heavy with an unnatural silence. I didn't wait to see if it would come back. By the time I reached my truck, the first light of dawn was creeping over the horizon. I knew one thing for sure. Beulah's woods weren't safe. not anymore. As I drove away, the scream echoed in my mind, a haunting reminder that some things are better left undisturbed, but for me, the hunt is never over.